Well, a chance for snow and some freezing drizzle tonight. Let's send it over to Greg for the latest on our weather forecast.
Yeah, we have that opportunity to see both things. Won't be a lot amount of snow, and really it's the side roads, the county roads, the less traveled roads that might have more of the slick spots. I think the main highways, interstate will probably be fine given the amount of traffic that'll keep the temperatures real warm out on the roads and keep them wet. But still, you have that opportunity for some slick spots, especially right now if you're in southwest Wisconsin, northeast Iowa, because of that freezing drizzle. We have less precipitation going out throughout the night once we get past about 3 or 4. And the big story going tomorrow, as you see the bright colors really start to shine up, is the wind, and that's going to be the main factor for most of the day, and that actually could cause some blowing and drifting for areas that have snow on the ground, so you still might see some slick areas in the afternoon given that drifting possibility, and those winds will continue through the evening commute, although they'll be a little bit less. So that's what we're looking at too. So the morning commute, like I said, less traveled roads are the roads to really pay attention to, less treated roads. Right now we have basically winter weather advisory has been expanded to include Crawford County down to Cora. This area has trace amounts of precipitation. Maybe a light glaze has been reported through southern Wisconsin. Overall, the rest of the area with this yellow is just a special weather statement saying we might see a little bit of mist out there. Up to the north or west of Ladysmith, that is where they have 2 to 4 inches of snow with a winter weather advisory up there. In between, we're going to see somewhat of both, but not a lot in the way of precipitation. If you track it out, this is not showing a lot of the pink that is showing up down in southern Wisconsin, but we might have a few more hours of that before I think a lot more areas will turn to just some flurry activity or some light snow. By the time we get to 3 a.m., most of it now is pushed east of I-94, and throughout most of the morning commute, you still might see some flurries. Can't even rule out a little bit of freeze and drizzle in some areas, but for the most part, I think it'll be dry. The wind will start being the story really after the morning commute, especially by 7 or 8, but we will have decreasing cloud cover in the morning, so we might see a little bit of sun towards the noon, especially afternoon. Winds, these are the gusts. Right away in the morning, we're going to see gusts 20 to 25, but look how they really crank up towards noon hour. We're already up to 30 to 35, and then in the afternoon, I think that's when the peak wind gusts could be above 40 at times, from about 1 to about 3, seeing these speeds up towards I-94 area right out of the west. That's when you could see some blowing and drifting of the snow. These winds will continue but decrease a little bit for the evening commute, but still we're looking at wind gusts potentially 30 to 35 through the evening commute. So that'll be the main story for Thursday. Temperatures overall not too bad really, but a lot of areas up to north with colder air coming in might see their highs more towards noon and then start seeing the temperatures fall. But all in all, these are pretty decent temperatures for this time of year. Now, we do have the bigger event coming Saturday, and that's why we have the alert day for potential of 3 to 7, maybe even more inches of snow. Really, it's going to be tricky to kind of nail down the really heavy band of where that sets up. And there's a possibility we could see more than 7 in these areas. But late Friday night looks fine until about 3 a.m. I think that's when we'll start seeing it. So dry most of Friday night, as I mentioned. After 3 or 4 a.m., that's when the snow arrives. Snow Saturday and Saturday evening. I think by the time we get to like midnight Saturday, it's probably going to be done and past. Heavy at times. The good news with this event, we don't see a lot of wind, maybe a little bit, 10 to 15 on the backside towards Saturday night. But overall, I don't think blowing and drifting will be an issue. Preliminary amounts, and this is preliminary, it will change quite a bit, but we do have a swap somewhere between I-90 to 94. I think we will see 6 to 8, maybe even more. It tails off towards Prairie du Chien, maybe 2 to 4, and further south and west you go, it gets less. Now this will shift a little bit, but for right now, that's what we're kind of looking for snow amounts. So we'll improve that as we get closer to the event. Otherwise, it gets cold next week behind the snow, however much we have on the ground. We're going to see a lot of areas well below 0. In fact, probably a lot of areas that could be in the teens below 0 next week, given the snow cover and the colder air. So that'll be a bigger story next week.
Yeah, those are some of like the lowest consistent days we've had this year.
Well, this
right?
is, yeah, just fortunate we don't have the snow now that we're going to get that we had back in January, because that was even a colder air mass.
Yeah.
So we'd likely be in the 20s below easily.
Oh boy. Okay. So. All right. Thank you, Greg.